Welcome to the Augmentation of Man with Kent and Renee Miller, where we are bringing the future. What are we going to talk about today?
We're talking about what will bring unity, and the questions asked in this are right from our guides.
And so in a world of so much chaos and polarization, what's going to bring us back to unity?
Well, the only thing that can bring us back to unity is truth. But as our own truth is what's happening now, what we have information about things that are going on. And tomorrow, if we get more information, our truth will change. But the truth of the universe is pretty much stable.
Yes. So the truth depends on our evolvement of our understanding as it relates to our data gathering and our seeking the truth. And so most of our unity today originates from our not having the truth.
There's our disunity.
That's right. And so there are many agendas out there that are trying to influence our thoughts, and they're putting us at odds with one another. But then there's also this other alternate timeline.
Yeah, they are influencing our thoughts, humanity's thoughts. And we started an alternate timeline thousands of years ago. And we have not been on the original timeline that was scheduled for us. We've been on an alternate timeline.
And this relates to our learning process.
Yeah,
so it's not time the way that we think of as humans. This is relating to events that play out on a timeline for our learning.
Which is full of misperceptions, which actually increases misperceptions on its own.
Over the years, because we're building misperceptions upon misperceptions. As time goes on, if our understanding is not corrected. And so this leads to this crescendo of events that's happening now, right?
Yeah,
all the chaos, the manipulation, the misperception, mistruths.
And the disperception and the crescendo of misperception upon misperception. And we are caught in this quandary and don't know how to get out of it as humans.
And so today, what we want to talk about is how do we bring this unity back? And it's going to depend upon our understanding and our ability to find the truth.
Yeah, look how it's dividing the human population. There's misperceptions, mistruths, misunderstandings are totally dividing, dividing the human population.
And when we have the truth, then we all are brought to the same page, and we have a cohesive understanding among people. And then you start to see peace reign. And this is where we can come together to fight the odds that are stacked against us right now.
Yeah, there's only about 300 humans that are controlling the mass majority of the population. If we come together as a population to look at each other as humans, not as different races, but as humans, and work together, we can overcome these 300 individuals.
And so this is dependent on what we are listening to, what news stations and how we're getting our information, whether it be YouTube or another social media. It seems to be Twitter, seems to be really a big source of information, especially for the younger generations. And so we need to be able to filter through what is real and what is propaganda, or what are perceptions that are being propagated amongst the population.
Yeah, teach your younger ones how to do research, how to look up different things and find the truth. You're going to have misperceptions, mistruths, and everything you're going to run into, but take the time, take the time and show the younger ones how to find truth.
And so unity is not possible as long as we're biased and we don't have the truth. And so part of this equation is understanding where our biases are. Sometimes even when we're aware of them, it does not wipe out the fact that we have these biases, but the first step is to recognize that we have these biases. And a lot of it is the programming that we have received from the news, from what information is being put out there, and even science to some degree. And so what we need to do is come to the middle ground to be able to see both sides of the equation before we can see the truth.
Yeah, there's a correction in the timeline coming, but in order to correct the timeline along, which is an alternate timeline, is to come to truth. And then we will, once we come into truth, we will be aligned back to the true timeline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where our learning should have been, which we should have been much more learned by this time. We should have learned a lot more and have evolved consciously a lot more than where we're at now.
Yeah, get rid of this chaos that's happening and coming. Neutralize this chaos. And by neutralizing it, if you do research for truth, it will help neutralize the chaos coming.
And so what we're asking is that we ask that people start doing the deep dive. Take what you hear. Maybe you continue to listen to mainstream media. Maybe you continue to listen to or read, what's on Twitter or listen to what's on YouTube. A lot of people are gravitating to those alternate sources because they don't trust mainstream media. However, what you hear, you should be taking and doing your own investigative study. You go search out the documents, search out the news media outlets that are more neutral so that you can get the truth from a journalist.
Well, the guides call this repercussive aspirations, which means to eagerly seek out something of value. And that will begin to influence your understanding, and cause you to move forward because you want to know more.
And so we want to finish this with a quote from our guides who say, "A reliance on truth for unity." So in order to counterbalance the agendas going on today, do your research, do your deep dive. Don't rely on others, even though you may continue to listen to the same sources of information. Take that information and go do your own research and do your own investigation to see how true is it. Bring up the stats, especially with the pandemic. You will know where we are at in it if you research the statistics on it.
As you do research, write down your sources of where you've gotten your information. So you can tell others and they say, well, where'd you get that? And you can give them that resource. You can give them that source of where the information came from. If they've got the guts, they'll look it up and find out themselves. So you have got to keep track of where you get your information.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, do some research regarding, and this is available on, there are certain websites that will tell you if a news organization is left-leaning or if it's right-leaning or if it's more neutral. And I think that as you attune yourself to your own biases, you're able to recognize other biases as well in other people. And so as you're reading these news articles, you can see where they're trying to bend your thinking to their agenda, and start to realize that more as you are exposing yourself to the information that's out there.
I only got one last thing to say. Become an independent thinker.
Yes,
Okay? So
absolutely.
thank you for joining us today. This is short, but it's to the point.
And peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. Have a great weekend, everybody, and enjoy
Happy
your
4th.
4th of July. Take care. Bye-bye.